Class. The purpose of this video is to go over the cultural pizza assignment guidelines that will be due um, at the end of, I believe, week 4. I always ask that you check your calendar for course assignment guidelines and due dates, just because sometimes I record these videos in previous semesters and I use them over and over again. So you might see a date when I'm showing you something in the course, but it may be from a past semester. So please keep that in mind moving forward. So one of our first assignments in the course is to actually create a cultural pizza. And really the whole purpose of the pizza is to give a visual representation of your cultural iceberg that pertains to yourself as a person. So essentially we learned in the first orientation module that we all have a cultural iceberg where the top part, which is not very visible, it's just a small part of us, is what people see. But then there's this huge part that's under the surface that's invisible that we aren't able to see. And that actually really affects how we interact with others in terms of either being accepting or making assumptions or presumptions of what their cultural context is. So we're going to do an exercise where we really look at ourselves, both the visible part, which is kind of the easy part, but also the invisible part. And this is the way we will demonstrate it. So there's an idea of having a pizza, and the pizza is going to have 10 slices. Most students will use a poster board to make their pizza. They'll draw out a big circle and then they'll make 10 slices in the inside of the circle. I've had other students make individual slices of pizza and then bring it together into a circle. So I'm going to leave that up to you. The biggest part is that you have to be able to photograph it, and then you have to be able to upload it into Canvas. So I need one photograph of the entire pizza, and then I want you to break the pizza up into parts. So if I need to basically scroll in or make it bigger, I can see what you've posted on your pizza slices. So this pizza, this cultural pizza, is going to have 10 slices. And each slice will correlate to a specific topic. So the entire project has to do with your own personal context and culture. And we are going to apply Uri Bronfenbrenner's ecological systems theory to the pizza. And that means that each slice is going to have information about you, and then you're going to talk to me in the slice by which Uri Bronfenbrenner's ecological model and which system is related to it on that slice of pizza. So I do have a grading rubric for this assignment that we'll go over in a few minutes, and know that it's worth 25 points. So it does require you to buy a flat poster board. It does require the use of magazines, pictures, web access. You would need to adhere those items onto your board. So you might need glue, scissors, markers, your phone or a digital camera, however you want to work that out. So you're going to make that large circle on your poster board and divide it into 10 slices, and then I have different categories. So I'm going to jump to the categories first and then come back to this part. So we have a category or a slice of pizza related to your family members. We also have one related to family traditions, another one to clothing. We're looking at your food preferences, job, sports and fun. We have education here, followed by technology. Number 9 is arts and entertainment. And the last one is a free slice. All right. So each one of these categories is going to apply to a slice of the pizza in your end project. So when you do each one of the categories, I'm asking for you to do a combination of pictures and words. I'm looking more for pictures, not necessarily words. And I also ask that you have each slice be only one of the categories below. So try not to intermingle the content of the slices, although I do understand that sometimes that does happen. You're going to make sure you label each slice based on the category below. And then also, I want to make sure that you're printing anything that you put on there in terms of words. And by printing, I'm more specific about it being word processed. If you don't have access to a computer to print certain items, they need to be really clear, because when they come over in Canvas, sometimes it's really hard to read what you're writing, and then you could lose points. So I also want to make sure that you're attaching all of your information to your pizza so it stays intact. That's where the glue comes in handy. And then also you're going to combine all slices or categories at the end to make your own cultural pizza. So let's go ahead and take a peek at the different categories. So under family members, remember this is more of the invisible traits according to the cultural iceberg. And know that you're going to include your family members' names or pictures. But also I understand that, all families are different and that you might have folks that are not biologically related to you, but they are part of your family. So under family traditions, things like languages, what holidays do you observe or not observe? What are customs and traditions that you have learned about in the context of your own family? Under clothing, what kind of clothes do you like to wear? Do you have preferences? Is there certain styles historically that have influenced you, or people in your family or activities that you've done that have driven the way that you dress in terms of your choices of dress? So the food slice, this has to do with what are your favorite foods? Where do those food favorites originate from? Job slice. So some of us aren't working. Sometimes our job is actually going to school, but also know that I'm looking at you futuristically in terms of putting down what jobs or what are your interests of employment for the future. So sports and fun is where we can talk about not just sports and activities that you participate in yourself, but also things that you like to watch or that you like to follow. Your educational slice is things like your favorite subjects in school. What are your educational goals? And I encourage you really to look long term. Historically for favorite subjects in school, long term for where you're going to be going. Technology, I'm really interested in this one just because the technology platform has changed for a lot of folks based on in a historical or a chronosystem context, if we're bringing up Uri Brofenbrenner. So things have really changed. So I'm interested in how do you use technology? Arts and entertainment. What are your favorite types of architecture, music, dance, outings? Where do you go? What do you watch? Movies, TV shows, books. Anything basically that you do in terms of arts of entertainment. And the last one is the free slice. Is there something else that you want to tell us about yourself? And I'm going to say that you do have to fill that in. So look really deep back at the cultural iceberg and what aspects are a part of that, and maybe you can make that part of your free slice. So twining into each one of these categories, you're going to have an example of Uri Brofenbrenner's theory. So for example, you're going to mention one of the systems and which one it applies to your category, and then also you can give me a reason why, and that would be on each one of your slices. So I've pulled up for you now our grading rubric, and rubrics are really important. So rubrics tell us objectively as teachers and students what we have to have in our assignment to basically meet the student learner outcomes of the course. So I have different rows here, and each row is a criteria that I'm going to be looking at. So for this assignment, I'm looking at the assignment guidelines itself. I'm also looking at those 10 areas, those 10 categories. I'm looking to see how well you included Uri Brofenbrenner's theory and also writing mechanics. So what I tell students is you want to look towards making sure everything in this column is present in your end assignment before you submit it. So under the guidelines, I'm asking that you submitted it with a minimum number of photos and views, the 10 areas were present, and you included Uri Brofenbrenner. So before I even look at the level that you did on the assignment, I'm looking to see that you followed the directions. Under the 10 categories, it says 10 required areas are included with in-depth details. That means you included pictures, words, and other information. And we're looking at the invisible aspect of your cultural context. So under theory inclusion, and this is one that a lot of people forget, I'm looking for detailed personal examples that correctly align with the theory systems. So you're going to need to refer Brofenbrenner's theory, which by the way is located in your module for this week, and the descriptions of the experiences are in-depth and the connection is clear. So I want to know from your cultural context, what theory does it align with and why? And then I am grading assignments for college level writing, so please, 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 before you submit it, take a double look for grammar, punctuation, and spelling, and make sure that you have corrected any of those errors before you put them on your poster. So that would conclude our instructions for our first assignment in the course. If you have any questions whatsoever, please don't hesitate to contact me at tropke@Laverne, at hancockcollege.edu. All right, have a great day.